Xin kính chào quý vị và các bạn. Hôm nay ngày mùng 2 tháng 10 năm 2012, tôi là Khánh Ly.
Còn tôi là Minh Hải. Để bắt đầu chương trình Open Việt Nam ngày hôm nay, chúng ta sẽ cùng điểm qua những thông tin đáng chú ý.
Thưa quý vị và các bạn, những chia sẻ của thạc sĩ Thomas, giảng viên và cố vấn tiếng Anh tại nhiều trường đại học của Canada, Trung Quốc và Việt Nam về phương pháp giảng dạy Anh ngữ đặc biệt mà hiệu quả mang tên DRVIP do chính ông đã sáng tạo ra sẽ là câu chuyện mà chúng tôi mang đến cho quý vị và các bạn trong ngày hôm nay.
My name is Thomas Giglion. I'm from Canada, from Toronto, Canada, and I've been in the education industry for about 11 years. Basically, I've taught everything from IELTS, TOEFL, I was an IELTS examiner in China, and aviation English at Nobai Airport. Basically, I've taught in universities in Toronto, at York University, and Fudan University in China. Basically, I've developed in the last 5 years my own methodology. It's DRVIP method of improving your communication skills, your English skills, effectively using technology. Basically, it's my own method, and I have online ebooks and videos to explain that methodology.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sharing Vietnam, a 50-minute talk show at VTC10. The guest of our talk show today will bring to you the wonderful story concerning learning English. Let's say hello to Mr. Thomas Giglion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Thomas, what brought you to Vietnam?
Well, that's an interesting question. I was in China at the time, 3 years ago. Around this time, I was thinking of coming to Vietnam for holidays, and I just came here for holidays, and I ended up staying here, and didn't go back to China. So I'm still here 3 years later.
So, why did you decide to visit Vietnam as a tourism destination?
Well, I had 3 choices. I could go to Vietnam, I could go to Thailand, or I could go to Philippines. And I heard good things about Vietnam, and I love the beaches, and I came here, and I didn't come back.
So you visited the beaches of Vietnam at that time?
That's right, yes.
Where exactly?
I've been to Phu Quoc, I've been to Nha Trang, I've been to Mune. I love the sea.
You spent quite a long time for that trip.
Yes, I enjoy the sea, yes.
Now in Vietnam, the problem is a lot of young people love to learn English for their studying abroad, but they still find English a really difficult subject to follow. So what do you think about this?
Well, yeah, it is difficult if you have the wrong method. And the reason why it's difficult for them, they've been brought up with the wrong methodology. You know, sorry to say, but a lot of the methods that are being used right now in the education system are the same methods from 50 years ago. You know, for example, the teacher would say clothes, the students would say clothes, the teacher would say clothes, and sometimes the teacher will mispronounce, maybe say clothes or clothes, and the students would mispronounce. So what they're learning is bad English. So there's no testing or for the teachers to see if they're pronouncing it correctly. Maybe they're teaching the students wrong pronunciation. For example, 90% of my Vietnamese students say stomach. They don't say stomach. Why? Because they've been brought up to say stomach. So most Vietnamese say stomach instead of stomach. Or they say clothes instead of clothes. You know, so basically, you know, it's the methodology. And it doesn't take 10 years to learn English. Any language can be learned in about 6 months to a year.
English, a common language in the world, are quite familiar with many young Vietnamese people. Many people even spend years to learn, but no improvement is seen. And now, it is being questioned, learning English too difficult? However, every person has a different story.
Em thấy học tiếng Anh rất là dễ. Em thích và mong muốn được học tiếng Anh để sau này đi khắp nước.
Em thấy phần nói và phần nghe khá dễ. Nhưng mà bởi vì em không kiên trì nên là em cảm thấy phần đọc rất là khó. Và đặc biệt là em không cẩn thận nên là phần ngữ pháp của em cũng khá là một vấn đề.
Em thấy học cái gì cũng vậy thôi, dễ khó tùy từng người. Nó dễ với người có đam mê, có mục đích để học và có cái sự chăm chỉ để
học tiếng Anh. Có chỗ khó là phát âm không phát âm được như thầy ạ. Còn học từ mới thì dễ hơn.
And now you also have a kind of online video and something like that, learning IELTS within 60 days. Can you share with us more about this special thing?
Yeah, basically how it is, you know, the old method is get a book, study chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. We are now almost 2013. There's technology, there's internet, we have now smartphones, and I teach students that to use this technology, to use video, don't rely on, yes, you can use books, don't rely on a teacher. There's a lot of self-study that you can do if you really want to effectively improve your communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about this problem? A lot of students now just hating for the exam, IELTS and TOEFL. The real thing is how can they use English in their daily life?
Okay, well that's a good question. You know, I met a girl in Sapa, okay, and she spoke fluent English like yourself. She's never opened up an English book in her life. And I said, when did you start speaking English? And she said, 2 years ago. And she's never opened an English book. Why? Because every day she's not studying or learning English, she's doing English. It's a skill. You know, if you're in the pool every day, after 2 years, you're going to be swimming like a fish. You have to create the environment to improve your English. Yeah.
I know that you create for yourself the different way to teach English. So tell me more about that special method.
Basically, it focuses on what's called leveraged learning. Many students go to an English class and they have one teacher. So the teacher has 20 students. Mm-hmm. And most students only have 2 minutes to talk. So if you have 20 students, 2 minutes to talk, that's 40 minutes. They have no opportunity to talk. And they don't learn English. And basically they get homework. Mm-hmm. And students don't do homework. It's not interesting. So what I do is I get students to enjoy coming to class. And I'm not a teacher, I'm a coach. I coach them to learn English. So for example, if I'm teaching you to play the guitar, you go home and play the guitar. And so it's called leverage learning. I don't teach, I coach. And you use technology. So basically, for 1 hour of my coaching, you do 1 hour self-study. Not homework, self-study. So you have 2 hours, 2 times more fun. Mm-hmm. So I use technology. My students go on YouTube. I tell them, go here on YouTube, that's your self-study, learn some idiomatic language. And they say, wow, I get to go on YouTube. Wow, that's great. I tell them to go on Facebook. For example, I use Facebook where students upload their essay, their IELTS or their TOEFL essay, or even their voice recording, and their colleagues, their Vietnamese colleagues, do a thumbs up, I like it, I don't like it. And basically using Facebook, social networking, to get feedback not only from the teacher, because I'm a busy man, but from their colleagues. So, you know, the world is changing, and we have to change our education system to reflect on that. Students get bored. They want to play video games. They don't want to study English. Mm-hmm. So now what we do is use technology and smartphones mm-hmm. for that.
Okay. Show me something with...
Well, I'll give you an example. There's a simple program. There's a lot of programs free on the internet. You don't need to buy any programs. Basically, there's a lot of free programs you could download yourself. For example, voice recordings. Yes. For example, here I am. I'm using a simple voice recording here. Okay, so I'm recording my voice here. You could see that when I'm speaking, I could see my fluency. See if there's long pauses. You could delete if you don't like. It's like taking a photo. You don't like the photo? Delete. It's digital world, so we use digital technology, not necessarily books all the time. So basically, you upload this onto a blog, onto Facebook, using social networking, and have your colleagues to help you improve your English together.
With almost 2 years of experience teaching IELTS in Hanoi, Mr. Thomas can understand the concerns and problems that many Vietnamese students may have. Therefore, he has developed a new teaching method, namely DRVIP, with a view to helping Vietnamese students develop their English skills in the most natural way.
Basically, I find my methodology works best in Vietnam because it focuses on pronunciation, and that's the weakest part. I find the best results in Vietnam. You know, my country has 40 million people, and it's a much bigger country and fewer people. And I actually even taught English in Canada, in Toronto. Korean students would come to Toronto and practice TOEFL for the summer. So I started teaching TOEFL before I started teaching IELTS. And Korean students have different mindset with regards to how they study and such. But basically, you know, I feel I'm really contributing to the effectiveness of the improvement in the students' pronunciation. Like I said, because the methodology is really geared for this problem.
Và khi mà tiếp xúc với phương pháp doctor viết của thầy Thomas thì tôi nhận ra một số cái lợi thế. Thứ nhất là khác với phương pháp dạy truyền thống là thường là học sinh nhắc lại lời của giáo viên, nhưng mà trong lớp của thầy Thomas thì sẽ tạo ra một cái môi trường hai chiều giữa học sinh và giáo viên. Như vậy thì học sinh có cái cơ hội thể hiện mình nhiều hơn ấy. Hơn nữa là các lớp học truyền thống thì thường quan tâm đến số đông, tức là khi mà thầy nói thì cả lớp nhắc lại. Điều đấy thì có vẻ như là một lớp học rất là tốt và mọi người đều nói đúng, nhưng mà khi mà tập trung vào từng cá nhân riêng lẻ thì lại nhận ra rất là nhiều lỗi sai.
Thầy Thomas thì không dạy theo phương pháp truyền thống mà thầy tập trung vào những cái gọi là tập trung vào khả năng của từng học viên một ấy. Em cảm thấy là thầy đi sát sao với cả học viên. Tất cả những cái lỗi của bọn em thì thầy sửa rất là kỹ.
Lớp thầy thì thầy dạy khá kỹ lưỡng cho học sinh. Trong khi đấy thì trong lớp học bọn em, trung tâm Ocean ở đây, thì mỗi lớp chỉ tầm khoảng từ 8 đến 12 sinh viên học sinh thôi. Thì thầy có thể sát sao với cả các học sinh hơn, vì bọn em có thể tiếp thu được nhiều hơn.
You create this kind of method specialized for the Vietnamese students or for students all around the world?
My DRVIP method is a methodology using technology, coaching technology, to improve communication skills, English communication skills. So it could be public speaking presentations, it could be IELTS, it could be TOEFL. I teach at Nobai Airport. I deal with air traffic controllers, the people in the tower, communicating with the pilots. Anywhere where there's communication, this technology could help improve scores dramatically. You know, I see a lot of people say, you know, well, how can I improve my score dramatically? You know, this language school says, you know, we have 6.5 score. This student achieved 6.5 score. Well, what I say is, how do you know they achieved 6.5 score with that method? Maybe they were a 7 score before and they went down because your method deterred them from that. So basically, this method measures day by day your improvement. It's kind of like, you know, dieting. Every day you go on and weigh yourself. Oh, I'm getting skinnier, or I'm getting fatter. I change my diet. You adjust. So this is measurable, and it creates an improved method of communication using smartphones, using laptops, using technology.
Okay, so up to now, are you satisfied with what you have done to Vietnamese students?
I plan to do a lot more, and I plan to stay in Vietnam for a long time. I enjoy it here. I have many friends here. I find it challenging, and especially because your language is very different from English, so it's more of a challenge. So it's a lot more work for me, but I enjoy it.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing with us your experience in this country, and I hope that you will be back with us and sometime teach the editors and the MC of VTC10 to improve their skills too.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Send us an email at sharingvietnam@gmail.com. See you next time at 8:30 p.m. on NetViet VTC10.
Cảm ơn ông Thomas và biên tập viên Minh Ngân về những chia sẻ vừa rồi.